Do you crave stillness, freedom, rest, and more vitality? I love that I get that after profound depth practices. Some depth practices are about personal connection. Some depth practices are for relationship ease. Some are for experiencing union with that aspect of ourselves that exists beyond the identity. I would like to share some of the practices that I've enjoyed for experiencing union with the full nothingness. Some call this exploring the transpersonal, oneness, isness, or the space of I am. Today's practice includes 4 kinds of breathwork training. Whether you are a beginner, intermediate, or advanced practitioner, a yogic breathwork practice can reduce stress, deepen your meditation, resolve insomnia, increase inner quiet and peace, and support anyone who is interested in experiencing the higher aspect of ourselves. If this kind of practice doesn't fit for you right now, you may be interested in the very powerful, more personal 5-step method that I call sorting it out. There's a link in the description below for those that are interested. But for now, if you're curious, willing, and ready to go, please join me in today's practice of exploring the infinite expanse within and beyond the personality.
So what separates yoga from all other forms of exercise is this emphasis on the breath. I'm going to keep this very simple because this is designed for people who are new to yoga like you. So for people who are new, what I really encourage them to think about in their breathing practice is to breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, and to take full, slow, complete breaths with the inhale and the exhale being equal length. So what that means is that if Murray breathes in for a count of 3 through the nose, he's going to breathe out through the nose for a count of 3. So you're making the inhale match the exhale in terms of length. And you'll find that as you do more yoga and you practice more regularly, you'll be able to maybe breathe in for 4 and out for 4. And then in for 5 and out for 5. But it's great to start even just with 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Then you can work to add what's called a gentle breath retention or a pause at the top. So inhale for 1, 2, 3 through the nose, pause. Exhale, 3, 2, 1 through the nose, pause. Do you already feel calmer?
Yes, it just slows you down.
Slows you down. So you can start to add that pause. The other thing I talked about here was the idea of a full, complete breath. So in order to help Murray really find that, I'm going to have him come to the edge of his seat so he's sitting nice and upright, and just take both hands to his navel. And this is a fun game. Basically, we're going to inhale and we're going to see if your navel moves or not. So inhale and exhale. So all of his breath, did you guys see, was in his chest. Do it again, Murray. Breathe in. Okay, you fixed it that time.
Yeah.
He fixed it. He knew. So the first time he took a breath, I saw, because I was looking at his navel underneath his hands, and his navel didn't move. He breathed like this. Like it was just up in the upper body. What we want to do when we breathe in yoga is send the breath all the way down so that your navel actually moves out. And then when you exhale, the navel moves in. Try that one more time. Inhale. Exhale. So you have a deep belly breath, a full, complete breath. And this is really hard because so many of us are used to our whole life just breathing up here in our chest. And a lot of us also are self-conscious about this area of the body. We're constantly sucking our belly in. And a fun anecdote I like to share is that if you've ever seen statues of Buddha, Buddha is big.
Has a big belly.
He's got a big belly. And the reason is because he was a master meditator and he knew how to send his breath down into his body. Yeah. So we need to reclaim awareness of this area, of the solar plexus area. And as you breathe, you want to think of really sending the breath into the whole rib cage. So that means that your diaphragm is going to really contract and then release with each breath. And that is going to push the navel out. And that's okay. That's okay. We want those full, deep, complete breaths, especially as a beginner, because even if you're not doing some of the postures quite right, if you're new to yoga, if you can do the breathing right, you're going to get so many of the benefits of this practice, the stress reduction and everything that comes with it. Now, once you're comfortable with this, there's something called Ujjayi pranayama, which I have a different video on, which is sort of the traditional, more heating yogic breath. But if you are just starting out, this is the way to go. Just focus on, let's recap. Inhales. From where, Murray?
From the mouth, from the nose, from the nose.
In and out through the nose.
For the same length of time, in and out.
Perfect. And the third thing?
Counting to 3 in, counting to 3 out.
Counting to 3 in and out. And yeah, and just trying to keep that full, complete breath.
Yeah, in and out.
You got it. We'll see you guys in the next video.
See you next time.
In this video, you will learn the 3-part breath technique, also known as Dirgha Pranayama. Sit down on your heels so that your knees are below the level of your belly. You can also follow this exercise while lying down in corpse pose. To begin with, get acquainted with the 3 phases of breathing that fill up the belly, the lower ribs, and the upper chest. Remember to keep your mouth closed and breathe through your nose. Place your hands on your belly and inhale, inflating the belly like a balloon. Now exhale, allowing your belly to collapse. Place your hands beside your lower ribs and inhale, letting your ribs expand. Exhale as your ribs close in. Next, place your hands on your chest, just below your neck, and breathe in, letting your chest rise. Exhale, allowing your chest to compress. Now inhale slowly for 6 counts. In the first 2 counts, fill up your belly. In the second 2 counts, let your lower ribs expand. In your last 2 counts, fill up your upper chest. Now exhale in reverse. First, compressing your upper chest, then your ribs, and finally your belly. Repeat the cycle 5 to 10 times. This technique helps you calm the body and slow down your breathing. It also increases lung capacity and helps lower blood pressure. You have now learned Dirgha Pranayama, the 3-part breath technique.
Hi everyone, I am Anonymous Traveler from Intellectual Exercise. Today, I will share a breathing technique to absorb the invisible energy, prana, in the air in a large quantity. Prana is the same thing as alchemical sulfur. It is omnipresent universal energy or life force in the universe. You cannot see it, but without it, you will die. There are techniques to increase the intake amount of this invisible energy for your benefit. I will share one of such techniques today. Also, I will share one of the techniques to stop the energy draining by grounding our crazy inner monkey mind temporarily. And absorbing prana with breathing requires at least minimum level of breathing skills. So first, I will discuss the technique to ground the inner monkey mind temporarily first, because it is much easier and can be used as a warm-up exercise to be prepared to learn proper prana ingestion technique. Whether we realized it or not, our energy is continuously leaking. Yes, we spill our energy all over the places. If you have watched my previous videos, you will remember that there are endless streams of bubbles in our mind, and we are continuously jumping from one bubble to another frantically. And that drains a lot of our energy. And penetrating this process of endless jumping onto various bubbles is not only necessary for the penetration of a reality, but also for energy accumulation as well. This jumping process is something you can see for yourself when you practice insight meditation regularly. And the thing is, the strength of jumping action is not always the same. Time to time, it gets momentum and becomes even more frantic than usual. So, when your mind starts to jump all over the places frantically, there is a technique you can use. Is bringing your attention to a certain part of your body instead of your mind. Yes, bringing the attention to a certain part of the body is an age-old technique used by various spiritual seekers. It can be used as a technique to blow off steam when your mind starts jumping all over the places frantically. Also, if you are advanced in practice, You can use your breathing as a center of attention instead of specific area of your body. This technique I will share is good for everyday use for beginners and also good for advanced practitioners as well when they have to handle crazy outbursts of their mind quickly. For this technique, you need to find the part of your body that works best for grounding effect. We will use that particular part of your body as an anchor to bring down the jumping inner monkey mind onto the specific part of the body. That body part can be anywhere in your body, but that area of your body should have enough grounding effect. Let me describe this grounding effect. That part of your body should be able to draw enough of your attention or your inner monkey mind to your body. So you need to experiment to find out which body part has the biggest grounding effect. But what I personally suggest here is using your abdomen as this point of focus. Even people who do shallow breathing, their abdomen is still rising and falling to some degree during the breathing process. It is the easiest and the most effective one for most people, so I will explain this technique based on abdomen. First, rub your hands for 30 seconds and generate enough heat in your hands. Then bring your now warm hands to your abdomen. This is symbolization of putting fuel into the fire of alchemical calcination. And imagine your abdomen and the hands as your anchor to bring down jumping inner monkey mind. By the way, skip the hand rubbing step if you are not alone because you don't want to draw attention from other people. Next, gently lay your hands on the surface of your abdomen. Now feel the movement of your abdomen with your hands. Focus your attention on the movement of your abdomen. Now you need to go into deeper breathing. Gently push your hands to the back of your abdomen while exhaling. Your abdomen should be sucked in as much as you can comfortably. Then hold your breath for as long as you can comfortably. When it gets uncomfortable, start inhale all the way until your abdomen becomes like a balloon. Then, when your abdomen became full, again, hold your breathing process for as long as you can comfortably. When it gets uncomfortable, start exhale process all over again. This technique is a good tool to put a stop on your mind when you start jumping all over the places by simply bring your attention to a certain point of your body. So use this technique whenever your mind becomes out of control. Repeated use of this technique can strengthen its effect and you can use it as a personal anchor. Now, let's move on to the second technique. In order to use this second technique, you need to observe your breathing pattern first. Everyone has different breathing pattern. For example, some people breathe in for 3 seconds and then exhale for 3 seconds, while some people do that for 6 seconds per each. At first, you need to observe your normal duration of inhaling and exhaling. Let's say you normally inhale for 5 seconds and exhale for 5 seconds. Then, when you do this technique, you add 5 seconds of non-breathing time between inhaling and exhaling. Yes, you need to hold off your breathing for 5 seconds between inhaling and exhaling. So you have a cycle of 5 seconds of inhaling and 5 seconds of non-breathing and 5 seconds of exhaling and 5 seconds of non-breathing. After you become comfortable with this cycle, then add 1 second to inhaling and add 3 seconds to exhaling. Now, you have a new cycle of 6 seconds of inhaling and 5 seconds of non-breathing and 8 seconds of exhaling and 5 seconds of non-breathing. Practice this until you get comfortable with it. Then add another 1 second to inhaling and add another 3 seconds to exhaling. Keep the same duration of 5 seconds for non-breathing. Now you have a new cycle of 7 seconds of inhaling and 5 seconds of non-breathing and 11 seconds of exhaling and 5 seconds of non-breathing. Practice this until you get comfortable with it. Then add another 1 second to inhaling and add 3 seconds to exhaling. You repeat this process of adding 1 second to inhaling and 3 seconds to exhaling until it gets too uncomfortable to continue. Let's say you hit the wall with the cycle of 8 seconds of inhaling and 5 seconds of non-breathing and 14 seconds of exhaling and 5 seconds of non-breathing. Then do not increase the inhaling and exhaling time. Instead, now increase the time of non-breathing. You have been using 5 seconds of non-breathing time between each inhaling and exhaling. Now, experiment with that non-breathing time and find out how much you can increase it before it gets too uncomfortable. Let's say you can hold your breath for 15 seconds without too much discomfort. Then, now you have a new cycle of 8 seconds of inhaling and 15 seconds of non-breathing and 14 seconds of exhaling and 15 seconds of non-breathing. And this is your own unique cycle for using the second technique. As you probably wonder by now, with this cycle, your exhaling time is much longer than your inhaling time. You are exhaling much deeper and longer than your normal breathing pattern during this exercise. When you inhale that deep and powerful, your body craves inhaling with the same duration, but now you are deliberately limit that natural urge. Ignoring your body's urge to inhale longer, you are now holding off breathing for another 15 seconds with this cycle. Since your body is prohibited from inhaling air like it normally does, during this time of non-breathing, your body is ready to absorb another form of energy than air. Now, you are ready to use your body's natural instinct for your benefit. Now imagine yourself turning into a human vacuum cleaner. And then imagine you are sucking in all the energy around you. The trick is you have to do it without breathing. If you can nail this down, you can absorb the invisible energy, prana, in large quantity during those 15 seconds of non-breathing time. And more you practice, the better the outcome. When you intake a large amount of prana, you will know it right away. It's very powerful energy, and you will feel it immediately. Thanks for listening, and all the best.
Breathwork can support us to reduce anxiety, change our mood, or just feel more relaxed, as a proper diaphragm breath activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the relaxation response. More deeply, a powerful breathwork practice can help us access more of an expanded state. Breathwork has been used for healing trauma and for deepening process work. There are links in the description if you would like to experience more of that. Breathwork can also help us to feel more connected to the expanded, infinite aspect of ourselves. I know that I've practiced well when just sitting here, I experience that I am complete. So, what were your favorite takeaways from this practice? LIFTnibbles is just getting started on YouTube. So if you would like to share your positive experience, I would love reading your comments below. Thank you so much. Please remember to subscribe, follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and then please do join me next week for another week of practicing nothing. Have a wonderful week.